So now we're moving into a panel discussion, but first of all, thank you very much for some very interesting, with I think very diversified also, but very interesting and fruit for thought, right? I think there's really something to go back on and continue to work on and to reflect on at least, right? So now the floor is open for questions to the three people. I think we have a mic because then. Go ahead.
Yeah, if I pronounce correctly. You came from automotive. Both of you. My question could be, because of the evolution of the APQP in automotive, do you think that now in wind APQP there are things missing we need to add in our, I will say, standard?
That's a great question. When I think of the evolution of APQP4Wind in automotive, and I compare it to wind, the wind renewable energy field, I think that number one, the difference is economies of scale, because the automotive industry is much larger, and it also had a 100-year head start. I just think back to my time in Ford. And when I came into Ford, it was about 6 or 7 years after APQP was implemented, AIAG. In the wind industry is very young in comparison. So I think that we have a lot to learn from the automotive industry, but at the same time, we have to take those lessons learned and apply it to our own industry, into our own journey and our own message. And specifically, I think that the biggest thing is the economies of scale. It's just not as large, and we're just not as mature as that industry at this point. So I think that those are two of probably the biggest challenges that we have. And I think we can overcome them. Does that answer your question? Yep. Good. Okay.
Yeah. And we have a question right here.
Is it on? Okay, perfect. Yeah, I would have a question for Kemal, basically about the usage of AI. I'm using it also from time to time, and I made the experience, at least I can self a co-pilot. It's always tricky, not always. Sometimes it does a really good job. But in the end, can we agree that the result or outcome is only as good as the prompt written? Because sometimes if you're unsure exactly how to ask and what to ask, the result is more or less a bit, I wouldn't say corrupted, but it's a bit messy. And if you want to use that data one-on-one as the result, for instance, to go further into discussions or argumentations, of course, then it's a bit, let's just say, weird to really lead in the discussions with that basis, no? Yeah, that's what I would like to bring basically in. What is your position on that one?
Yeah, I think there is maybe you have seen that before, just the AI pyramid, right? Especially for the large language models, like the last ones, right? And you are talking about the basic, the prompt, and then we have reg, we have the fine tune, and you can build your own AI if you have $500 million. I don't think so. But yes, exactly. The start point is just the prompt, okay? And another one is, of course, the capabilities of the LLMs, right? If you are using I wouldn't say a stupid LLM, right? Because now there's develop many other, the LLMs or the models that you need to test, okay, to find the best model for you, for the best prompt also. So that's why I'm saying, just try it with the different models. But you need to, of course, very specific on the prompt. When I'm starting the developing and solution, of course, I'm creating the best, the prompt or the best, the prompt for the solution. So it is starting with the prompt. If you don't explain it very well, then of course, how the LLM will come up with the right inference. Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, now it works. APQP4Wind, as I see it, has been built for mass production as in the automotive industry. But what we are seeing now from suppliers to the OEMs is
bigger systems, smaller quantities. How do APQP in the future embrace that kind of working relationship instead of building many units of the same where you have a big learning curve and multiple years production of the same product?
I can answer on behalf of the AI, right? So,
Well, we actually talked, Dan, right? We talked after I got off stage, and for me and for the challenges with Res is that, you know, on the construction side, the EPC side, we're dealing with one-offs. We're not dealing with serial production. So I think I wish I had an answer for you. As I mentioned to you, there's a working group, a utilities developer working group within APQP4Wind that is discussing just that topic. What does APQP4Wind mean for, you know, developers, utilities, that sort of thing? And when we don't have serial production, but we have one-offs. So I think that we just have to understand the gap, and we have to figure out how to close the gap. And I think what Kamal's presentation was excellent. Within Res, we're actually implementing AI, and we have different work streams. And I think that one of the work streams that we are working on is within quality, and we're trying to figure out what or how can AI help us to better use APQP and quality in general in a way that makes sense for our business. Because today, it's built for manufacturing, as you rightly said, and it's built for mass production, which doesn't fit on the utility developer construction side of things, right? So that's my take, but curious to see what my colleagues up here think.
How it's on, I think. Just from my perspective, I'm from the automotive industry too. I think, yes, APQP4Wind is a very strict process, but you can adapt it. So if you have not serial production, but have the one-offs, as you said, then you still can use the most valuable parts out of this process, which helps you. Because of this, you don't need to, this is exactly what I mean in my presentation. Yes, you have a process, but you don't, it doesn't help if you stick strictly to it. You need to adapt it to your reality with your people, and then it can work for you. And that's what I would recommend, actually.
But not before they have the right culture, right? Not before they have the right culture. Good? Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. It's mostly for Celia in relation to the process and the system development and also implementation. One thing is to have a system that are not APQP compliant and to agree that we want to be compliant. But how to start it up and how to initiate a program? How was your experience with that in Enercon? I know you have a very process approach to things, but how to get things started, redeveloped, because it's not starting from scratch, it's starting from a level where we are and have defined a goal. How did you do that in Enercon?
I think we start doing this in really talking to the people. Because as you said, we are not starting from scratch. That would be easy because then you have nothing and you can build on that. But we have already some systems. We are working according to APQP, but now we need to see what are the people thinking about it. You need to discuss this and say, hey, it's working for, it's not working for you. Okay, then explain to me why. And then maybe find a solution together. So this is what it really means, because what I said, every process that is only lived as a process will not work to its full capacity, because you really need, or maybe I have an example for you, because I'm coming from the automotive industry and I went to the medical engineering. It was from a big concern to middle class firm. And they say, hey, you can take standards from automotive and just put them over. No, that would be wrong. You cannot do this. But it was expected. No, let's see, what do you have? Let's see what you have, what you work with, and then we see what we can get from automotive and put it together and make it work. And then we have the same targets, we have the same results, and maybe not with the strict process, but with a process that works for you. And that's what we're trying to do here now. We now need to try to really get to the brains of the people, to really get to know what they are thinking, how they are working, and to get their buy-in on that. And to learn from them, because you have the requirements from APQP how to do some things like FMEA, for example, or the control plans. But we need the input from the people who are really doing this process to know how they do it right. Is that somehow answering your question?
Yes, yes. APQP set up custom.
Yes, we are. And this is exactly what we do. But as I said, there are many roads that lead to Rome. and and there are some roads to really fulfill APQP. You can do them. We will fulfill it because it is the standard we want. We live up to, and it is a very good standard. But we need to get the people doing it. We need to show them that it's something where they still be needed in, where the thoughts are still be needed in to do it perfectly.
Yeah. Good. Anybody else have a question? Yeah, there was Henning over here. We have a mic coming up.
Kemal, for you. It's about what would your recommendation be for us now? We're sitting in the board of APQP4Wind. We would like to, how do we support the wind industry and on quality in relation to AI? Could you give some short what you could see?
It's not going to be short. It's going to be 200 pages. So
could you use a short, just make it in short?
You can give it to the AI.
AI,
right? So the first is, of course, I think I have, of course, read this 200 pages, and there are exactly the use cases inside this, the VDA, the guideline. So automotive is going to do the same. So they are not going to generate another, the deliverable. They will be using for the FMEA, for the APQP, for the project planning, for MSAs, whatever. All the use cases exactly the same, what I showed. So in this case, we are not too late. We are not so far away. So we have this already. So this time, that's why I say we can catch up the train, right?
But then on top of that, maybe then, do you then foresee that we could actually use the same agents? That could be something that maybe we could provide as an organization to share within the industry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The AT agent is going to be AT agent for everyone, right?
Yeah.
So the same agent, same tasks.
Yeah.
Maybe you can, of course, customize based on your the needs, right? But exactly the same. So the FMEA is going to be used the APQP FMEA, or this the standard. What is in the manual. So we will be training exactly with our standards. Everybody can use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to add to what Kemal said. One area that I mentioned before is the maturity level and in terms of automotive versus wind differences in APQP. It's scale as well as maturity. But AI provides us with the opportunity to close the gap in terms of maturity. And it's something that I just realized just listening to Kemal's great answer, right? So this is a great opportunity for us as an industry to really have a major step change in terms of catching up with more established industries who've been doing this for 100 years and level the playing field. And when it comes down to it, 8D is the same whether it's automotive, aerospace, or wind. PPAP is the same as well, right? The only challenge that we have in our industry that is that depending on where you come from, supplier, OEM, or utility developer, you're talking about slight differences like one-offs versus serial production, that sort of thing, right? But this is a great opportunity AI affords us to really catch up really quickly.
Yeah, I guess one of the challenges is that when you do one-offs, you tend to think that it's an overkill to do all of these extensive documentation, right? But I mean, the one-off is as important as, so yeah. All right, anybody else? Yeah, we have a question from Carl. I think the mic coming. Just give a second, the mic is coming.
If I just may give a little bit of information, Ike and I, we are working on the, how can we use APQP4Wind for low volumes, single units? And I think we need to just look at it from a different perspective. Okay, this is one unit, but the process, look at the process. If you're making pipes, for example, It must be just one with this length or this diameter. But the process, is it the same? So can we use that approach to standardize processes to reach unique product? Then I think we can also get an approach on using APQP4Wind for the low volumes without making that as a huge effort. So that is the approach we have right now. And we can see that 90% is already usable. We need some small adaptations and we need some guidance how to use it, but it's not that far off.